approved this guideline because this is quite timely. It will provide the guidance that is needed for continued learning, and I will explain why continued learning is such an important thing. But it will also help regulators for compliance and for the professionals for their professional growth. And I'll also explain that the CPD, or continuing professional development, should be part of our culture, because for some of us, we see that it's just a practice where we have to undergo to get our license to practice, but we should see it differently, because CPD should help us remain worth of our profession, worth more than just a license. So we're going to go and provide more advanced care once we participate in CPD activities. So yeah, a little bit of the transformation that was supposed to be the main talk agenda for me. Why should we be attending CPD now? The truth is, the pharmacy practice is moving away from a person who is just sitting behind the window providing medicines to patients, to a more patient-centered, and if you want, you can also put it as digital-enabled, public health-oriented, and even clinical-oriented profession, as opposed to the past where someone would just sit there and provide medicines behind a closed window. So if you look from the medicine side, yes, we will continue to be at the patient-centered pharmaceutical care, and we can play a role at different levels, whether we are at the community farmers, whether we are at the regulatory body where we are providing different services there, or it be when we are looking at transforming away from paper records and manual stock control and moving, for example, to digital-enabled health supply chain intelligent systems. So if you look at these new systems, they need us to be updated of the current technologies that enable these digital-enabled tools. We should also move away from just applying the knowledge we gain at graduation and move to become daily people who want to daily update themselves of their competence and to acquire evidence-based practice skills so that we can practice evidence-based approaches. And even though dispensing is such an important aspect of the pharmaceutical profession, we should also move away from just being a dispenser to become a team-based leadership in different aspects. You can think of antimicrobial resistance, you can think of NCDs, safety, and particularly focus on the quality of care for our citizens. So there are several aspects that we can look at that are currently developing, and we can use these to, we can use CPD to increase our capability to serve the people. So the key message here is that CPD is not a regulatory burden, as some people might see it, because some people think, okay, the Farmers Council is forcing me to do a CPD. That's not the case, but we want to use CPD as an engine that keeps the professional competent, that increases the respect of the professions, and make them ready to serve. So it's very important, as I've already outlined, because it will help us to develop new medicine and treatment guidelines. It will increase our clinical knowledge, especially because this is changing very, very rapidly. It will help us to do rational use of medicines, increase stewardship and our role of daily responsibilities. So you can also increase, as I've said before, our digital health practices. It will also help you improve the way you document your systems and make decisions. And there are several aspects, including the patient safety, pharmacovigilance, all of which will depend on you being up to date. So to say, in a changing health system, the yesterday's knowledge alone cannot solve today's problems. So from your graduation, if you haven't attended any CPD, you are likely living in the Stone Age. So you need to update yourself so you can be up to date and provide quality care. So we need to, this CPD framework that we have, in the past, people just want to be, okay, I've attended this event, I have so many certificates. And most people will just be like that. They want to collect certificates. They just want to comply to regulatory authority because they said you must acquire, for example, a certain number of CPDs. They just want to learn without reflecting how this will help them in their daily professional practice. And you can forgive me for this, but there are certain people who have to attend the CPD because it will allow them to receive per diem from the organization because they will travel away from the office. They will go to another place and enjoy their lives. So this should not be the case. We should move towards practice improvement in our professional. We should boost our professional confidence. We should be people that we can be relied on the services we provide, but also we should provide ethical services to our people. And by so doing, we can also have a measurable growth in our professions, and we can advance our careers to even higher values. So it's not just about certificate, but it will expose us to better experiences for helping the patient and the community that require our services. And I just want to emphasize on the fact that CPD can help or build the competence and improve your public trust. So the professional trust will increase. So you know normally that the public will trust the personnel, that they will provide safe, accurate, ethical, and up-to-date services. They expect you to be the most updated person. And this is particularly important at these days where a patient can just go into one of these natural language models like ChatGPT, look up for some information. So we need to differentiate ourselves from people who just go there, ChatGPT and get information, but rather be ourselves updated. And the CPD is one of such areas that we provide that with such up-to-date information. So by doing that, then we increase our trust and we can use our post-graduation knowledge to continue the services that we provide to people. So it will also increase your professional judgment, the way you counsel your clients, the way you look at the medication theft. But if you look at the how this PD will protect, it will also protect the patient because we are talking of theft, but also it will protect your profession. So you don't want, when you go there, they're saying, okay, you know, these pharmacists, these are the people who steal medicines, these are the people who don't do anything for the healthcare profession. So you should provide us with the ethical and moral ways of practicing and get respect from the public. So this is something you can achieve not by just becoming a B Farm, MPharm or Master of Science or even a PhD, but it's something that you have to do by stepwise knowledge increment. Yeah, I think I've covered some of these things that what you can do, but there are a lot of other things. So apart from the general aspects of farmers, it can also help you with the leadership and accountability. And we must emphasize on this. So not just patient counseling or rational use of medicines or good dispensing practice, but it's also about leadership and accountability. So to say, it should allow us to change how we make decisions, how we behave. And I'm using here all the time the example of a patient, but depending on where you are, in the pharmaceutical sector, we all need to change how we do our decisions. And that can only happen if we keep us updated. So again, just to emphasize how this will help you for the leadership and how it will improve your standards. So CPD will improve your standards. When you come to CPD, you will also meet your colleagues, your peers. You will be exchanging views. And when you go back to your workplace, you will not be the same person. But also you will have confidence, how you express yourself, how you serve the people. And ultimately, whatever we do, we want to serve the national health goals or the national interest. So the CPD guideline, maybe most of you have already downloaded a copy of the CPD guideline, which was on the Farmers Council website. It will explain the activities, the type of activities that will count and give you the CPD points. It will explain how to earn the CPD points. It will explain what is compliance. It will explain the role of CPD providers. And then it will explain how you will need to keep your record so that you can use it for getting the required certifications. So to say, it's a guideline that will promote fairness, consistency, and confidence in the system itself. And there are certain core principles of this CPD framework, and I think the registrar will explain some of these things, but I think CPD should be relevant to practice, meaning that it should show what are the current practices that people need to know in order for them to practice. But then it should also increase the way we do ethical practices. And then it should have the diverse learning. So it should be different methods, blended learning methods. For example, allowing the interaction of participants using online platforms, mixed online and face-to-face meetings. So all these should be the core principles through which CPD should be conducted. And it should be accessible and fair, maybe not heavily priced, easily affordable through different online platforms. But it should also be gap-driven. So when we design these short courses, for example, here at MUHAS, we sometimes do the landscape survey assessments to look at, and sometimes we reach out to you, to the pharmaceutical personnel, to check out what they think should be currently imparted to the professionals. And then based on the surveys and all that, we try to see what is the gap. And we can also look at the literature. We can also see different guidelines of the Ministry of Health, for example. What do they say? What is the research saying? And we can look at those gaps and incorporate them into the training modules. So for example, here at MOAS, it's quite common that a short course curriculum should only last for 3 years, and the director of that particular training should update their curriculum every 3 years to make sure that it captures the current gaps in the practice. And the quality of care is another aspect that we should look at when we are designing the CPD components. So normally, if you look at the framework, if you also look at the National Continuing Professional Development Framework of the ministry, there are certain requirements. And one of them is that most of the personnel will require CPD, but I know the registrar will explain all this. I'm not going to the details. For example, the requirement of 20 CPD, again, registrar will probably take us through this. And it's important that all this information is recorded to keep track of who did which CPD. And therefore, we have the e-learning platforms, and we need platforms that can link to, for example, MIS systems of organizations. So here, for example, PCMIS can be able to track which pharmacist or which pharmaceutical personnel has done which particular CPD. And we can submit, for example, if you attend at MUHAS a CPD, you can also submit it to the Farmers Council and they will accredit it. A CPD can come in different forms. You can attend a professional committee meeting. You can contribute to the farm community of practice. You can author documents. And I think the most popular of them all is a structured short course, which normally can be face-to-face, a distant learning, or purely online short courses. And maybe later on we'll see which one people prefer, but most of the time at MOAS, when you ask the applicants how they prefer to get the short course training, most people preferred face-to-face, or a few wanted a blended learning experience. I'm not sure why in the age of digital transformation, people will still stick to face-to-face, but this is something we can discuss in different platforms. So you can also undergo workshops, webinars like the one we're having today, and that can also count. Or you can have a presentation at a conference or provide some guidelines, feedback, and that also can give you a mechanism for getting CPD points. If you're a supervisor and mentor, like, for example, a supervised master student, PhD student, this can also be included in counting. Or you can be a researcher and a consultant, and with a proof of that kind of work, you can also claim your CPD. Now, we can have different type of CPD providers. So there are many potential providers. So the ministries can organize such programs, the health facilities. Academic training institutions are normally entrusted to train normal educational programs, but also they are entrusted to do the CPDs and continuing professional development training, which is also part of their mandate. And other than that, the professional bodies and associations like PST, the Farmers Council, the one who is launching this guideline today, the research institutions, they can also, I think, apply and get recognized as experts, but also I think other people who get approvals, they can be able to do that. But I think the registrar will also explain who can and who cannot be the provider. In any case, the provider should be someone with the expertise in the area and with resources and tools to be able to do this kind of work to impart knowledge to the pharmaceutical workforce. So they should be people who have, relevant topic to say regarding the practice. Should be someone who will bring evidence base to the table. Someone who will bring interaction with the peers, and someone who has been evaluated for quality. For example, if you want to approve your short course within MUHAS, for example, it's a mandatory that your curriculum must be evaluated by not less than two reviewers. So then they look at it and see whether there's relevance in the course, whether it's ethically professional, and it will be accepted by the professional bodies who accredit or license the professionals. So it should not be something that just give you a CPD, but rather something that allow you to have improved the practice. And it can't go without mentioning the digital, the impact of digital platforms. So digital platforms make it easier for us to track our registrations, attendance, points that we've acquired, the compliance, who are the providers of the accreditation, and all the information that is required. And it's important that when we create CPD programs, we make equal opportunity. So there need to be equity so that we can reach all people, for example, in the country. For example, instead of focusing only you are training Dar es Salaam or Dodoma, you can see which other regions require this kind of training. So, for example, MUAS is going to Kigoma. So it's just improving the reach out and getting to provide services to the people who are far from where normally the services are most abundant. So we can go to regional hospitals, district facilities, community pharmacies, academia, even the industry. Everywhere we can reach out and make sure that all the people at the front line receive the services every day. So before we close, it's important to emphasize that the regulator will provide the guideline, which they are doing today, to make sure that everything is properly taken care of. There is fair and accountable way of accrediting professionals. The CPD providers need to be reliable and experts, and the professionals need to be eager, active, and reflect what they get from the CPD and apply it in their daily lives. So it's not the end of learning after graduation. It's the proof that our profession remains alive. We are responsible and ready to use, and I'll overemphasize this. So as you go, make sure that you read the guidelines, you understand the expectations as well as you can. Take your calendar, plan the CPD activities before this year is over. When you attend the CPDs, keep your small database and update the records if you must. If you have attended the CPD outside for example, the Farmers Council platform, update the Farmers Council. Choose the CPD that will your practice as many as possible. And for providers, make sure you do provide training that is of higher competence and brings quality. And this will bring fairness and competition. So to close, I think CPD is becoming a professional culture of learning, ethical practice, leadership, and better service to the clients. It is not the end of learning after graduation, but a proof that the profession is still alive and that will be responsible for serving our clients responsibly. So with this, I want to thank you, and I hope that you will find the CPD framework useful. And once again, congratulations to the registrar and the whole board of the Farmers Council and all professionals who have made this possible. Congratulations, and let's keep our profession alive. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Professor Ngeda. Thank you so much, participants, for joining. And we have over 500 participants in this webinar. This is very promising in our professional. I would like to welcome you, to congratulate our professor of this remarkable presentation regarding CPD development and how we can benefit in CPD use. Especially, he has emphasized on the 4 points have been emphasized in his presentation. The first thing is about there is a drastic change on a patient-centered pharmaceutical care. And another important issue is regarding the daily update have been provided and flooded in our resources. So this is the show that there is a heightened need of CPD point or CPD or professional development for we pharmacists. And another important issue has been emphasized by Professor Ngeda is regarding the digital health platforms. Digital health issues have been coming up, like the use of AI in dispensing in pharmaceutical care, providing some advice to our communities, and even in our activities, the choice of medicines, in procurement, etc. And the last point, which is very important, is regarding we as a pharmacist to participate in professional collaborations, multidisciplinary team regarding like antimicrobial resistance, communicable diseases, non-communicable diseases, and not forgetting about the issue of the health policies. This is a very important. There you can find doctors, find nurses, you can find pharmacoeconomics professionals, you can find economic professionals, you can find politicians, etc. So this is the well narrated and well presented from Professor Ngeda, and I would like to thank him again and again. So I would like to remind you, napenda kuwakumbusha tena kuhusu twende kwenye chat box tujaze ile form ambapo tayari imeshawekwa. Utaweka taarifa zako muhimu ili kuweza kupata CPD point, na vile vile itakuwa ni moja ya rekodi muhimu sana ya uwepo wako hapa. Tunashukuru sana kwa kuendelea kujoin, kwa kuendelea kuwa na uvumilivu kuwepo hadi sasa. Bila kuchelewesha muda, napenda kumkaribisha msajili. I would like to welcome registrar to guide us on the use on how to operationalize the grand visions to invite the custodian of regulatory frameworks, a registrar of the Farmers Council, pharmacist Boniface Magige, will lay out on the council specific strategies and a presentation on urgent call on action for all personnel, pharmaceutical personnel, to adhere strictly to new launched guideline of CPD. And the registrar, Boniface Magige, he will present us a narrative, a presentation, a remark regarding to put much emphasis and a regulatory perspective regarding the CPD point, regarding we as a pharmacist, our role, and to take in CPD and the professional development. I would like to welcome, I'm very pleased to welcome Registrar Boniface Magige to the floor. Thank you so much. You're welcome, Registrar.
Thank you. Thank you, moderator, Mr. Zimbwe. As you introduced me, I'm Boniface Magige, Registrar of Farmers Council. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank you, all participants who joined this webinar this evening. starting with the representative of the Ministry of Health, the chairman of the Farmers Council, the members, the CPD providers, the PST leaders, distinguished stakeholders, all professionals, ladies and gentlemen. I thank you again for sparing your time to join us today for this most very important event of launching the newly developed CPD guideline for the benefit of our profession. I would like also to take this opportunity to thank you, Professor Sengeda. He has taken a bit time to cover almost all gaps, which emphasizes why should we conduct or practice doing CPDs as professionals. He has taken much of time to emphasize how to fill the gap between graduation and continuing practicing every day, everywhere, as the farmer's profession is concerned. As the moderator emphasized, my duty as a registrar representing the regulatory authority, the Farmers Council, as mandated by the law to ensure the farmers' profession is safeguarded now and then, is to emphasize on the legal framework and the foundation and the importance of emphasizing practicing or conducting CPDs so as we can update our knowledge from time to time. As I said, the Farmers Council was established in 2011 through the Farmers Council, through the Farmers Act 311, Section 3, and given the mandate to ensure the farmers' profession is highly safeguarded. Today, we are going to launch the new developed CPD guidelines, but also to emphasize on enforcement of standards and transformation of farmers' profession through that guideline. I know Professor Sengeda has emphasized some critical transformation of farmers' practice by filling the gaps which lie in between the historical pattern of the profession from distributing medicines in the traditional mode of saying 3 times a day until today where the profession is going further to clinical care, clinical practices, and other areas of emphasis and practicing as a profession like pharmaceutical industries. So filling that gap means we have to become updated today and today. It's emphasizing on the legal mandate regarding the CPD. We go back, as I said, to the Act, the Farmers Act of 2011, Cap 311, Section 46, Section 46, subsection 1 of the Professional Registration Regulations of 2005. This is a regulation which emphasizes on the professional registration and education regulations of that year, which clearly states that for every person, for every professional, pharmaceutical professional must ensure that every year has conducted and practiced some CPD knowledge, whether through different workshops or whatever, to ensure that that knowledge will be as an added advantage or a mandatory requirement for ensuring that his license or her license is well updated so that he can practice in the next academic year and the financial year, or rather calendar year. So strictly, statutory authority informed that the CPD is binding legally and legal duty to authority to ensure that every profession is conducting this CPD before end of January of every calendar year. So how do we say this is illegal mandate? As I said, under Section 4, subsection E, Section 4, Part D, Part 1 of Roman in the Farmers Act is strictly emphasizing that every professional person should conduct the CPD to obtain not less than 20 CPD points per calendar year to ensure his license is updated. Again, how do you conduct this? We have developed some platforms like PCMIS system, where every professional person has an account in which he can use to update his professional license by gathering his CPD and ensuring that those 20 CPD points are mandatory requirements to ensure his license is updated. Therefore, the role of Farmers Council is to ensure that there is a favorable environment for every professional person to gain his points through different CPD areas to ensure or to assist him to update his license. Again, we have also some shared responsibilities and providers standards. Professionals must report their skill deficiency each year, review the portal gradually and upload proofs of attendance safely. That means for those who have attended this CPD, they should upload their certificates if they have obtained them from different attendances or CPD trainings which they have attended. On the side of the employer, the employers are legally required to grant their pharmaceutical teams the necessary time and the flexibility to attend these essential trainings before annual registration windows arrive. This emphasizes that the employers are not obliged to use their wishes to allow the professionals to go for CPD trainings, but it's mandatory by law to allow them, to give them enough time to attend these CPD trainings so that they can get those requirements as CPD points before registration windows arrive. That means before annual update of their licenses are arrived. Again, rigorously providers acceleration. This means CPD trainings as entities. That means CPD providers must legally be registered in Tanzania, utilize the qualified facilitators, match global technology changes, and deploy objectives assessment tools. This emphasizes that the CPD providers must be registered before embarking on any activity of giving or providing a training to professionals. And they should use the registered and recognized qualified facilitators to conduct those trainings. Now, having said this, as part of the Farmers Council, as the legal framework is concerned, I would like also to welcome all professionals, wherever they are, to participate in CPD as not only mandatory, but also the part which will assist them to fill the gaps of technicalities, professional competences, and even adding some skills of leadership and legal frameworks wherever they are. Now, having said this, I will also come back again and thank you professionals who attended this webinar. And I would also to thank you, Mr. Zimbwe, for giving this opportunity to emphasize the legal framework and the mandatory legal foundations which give legal mandate for Farmers Council to ensure that the CPD is highly conducted in a good environment. And through this, that's why we have developed the CPD guidelines that will enable all professionals to acquire the CPD in a smooth manner. Thank you very much. And I also expect, after launching this, CPD guidelines, every person, every professional will be in a position to utilize it effectively. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Registrar. Thank you so much for a remarkable presentation and the clear roadmap on the CPD point, the legal mandate of having CPD. Now I would like to recognize we have few hands there. Kuna mikono ambayo imenyoshwa miwili mpaka sasa. Bonaj Mrema and Neema Range. Nina recognize mikono yenu, lakini vile vile ningependa kuendelea kwa emphasize tuendelee kujaza ile form na kujiintroduce na moja kwa moja tuende kwenye maswali. Najua watu wana maswali mengi. Itasaidia, tutachukua maswali machache na maswali mengine tutachukua yataandikiwa maelezo na kuweza kuwa share kwenye magrupu yetu ambayo ni ya professional. Ninapenda kuwakaribisha ile mikono ambayo ilitokea awali kabisa, miwili ya kwanza. Napenda kumkaribisha Mrema kwa sababu alinyosha mkono anataka kuongea. Napenda kukaribisha kwa ufupi sana kwa kutokana na muda. Nenda moja kwa moja, jitambulishe, nenda kwa moja kwenye swali lako. Ningependa administrator kuweza kuwaruhusu kuweza kupata access ya ku open mic. Mrema hayupo na napenda kumkaribisha Neema Range. Neema, kama mnapata changamoto ya administrator, tunaona kama watu wanapata changamoto ya kuweza kujoin, kuweza ku open mic, kwa unmute. Please, administrator in background, could you talk? Okay, we have maybe our technical issues. Wakati tunasubiria mambo yakae sawa, nilikuwa na swali ambalo anaelekeza kwa registrar. What is the Farmers Council's stance on exemptions? Are the retired older professionals, wazee, wazee washua, vijana wanasema, all those who hold qualifications but are currently not practicing pharmacy required to get these 20 points?
Thank you, moderator. I think your question is very vital and important, particularly at this time when we are having now a great number of wazee, but also some professionals who need to be exempted from paying or from conducting this CPD for the matter of updating their licenses. So far, under legal environment, the only profession who is exempted from conducting or from participating in CPD are those who does not want or who are out of the scene of practicing the pharmacy profession. Everyone who is not or is not want to practice his professional competences is not mandated to conduct his CPD, because at the end of the year, he or she is not going to update his license. But however, in the side of the wazee, that concern has been taken for some time. It's almost 6 years, 6 months later. We are going to give how to assist or to exempt those old colleagues of the profession. And we will do this by just clearly stating the demarcation line in which what age the Farmers Council, the professional farmers can state clearly that this colleague is now mzee. That is under pipeline, but currently the law is exempting those who does not practice the profession. Thank you.
Asante sana kwa majibu mazuri sana, na ningependa kuuliza pia kwa in background tayari mmeshaweka mambo sawa ili watu waulize maswali moja kwa moja. Kuna swali kwenye chat box ambalo limetolewa na Kagwiza. Anasema ombi, kupitia mfumo wa e-learning platform ninaomba kuwepo na ongezeko la courses ambazo zitaruhusu PC member self enrollment, PC member self enrollment kama ilivyo kwa MCT, TNMC and HLPC. Registrar, una lolote la kuongeza hapo?
Come again?
Kuna mfamasia ametoa hapa ombi, anaitwa Kagwiza. Kupitia mfumo wa e-learning platform ninaomba kuwepo na ongezeko la courses ambazo zitaruhusu PC member self enrollment kama ilivyo kwa baraza la madaktari, la manesi na wataalamu wa maabara.
Asante moderator, kwa sababu ni wazo ambalo kama tunavyozungumza hapa, CPD is the roadmap to update our knowledge, to increase our skills. Kwa hiyo kama alivyosema kwamba wenzetu wa mabaraza mengine they are doing the same, nadhani secretariat wanachukua hizo point, we shall sit down. Hatuna obligation ya wazo kama hilo so long as linaenda kutuongezea ujuzi na upanuzi wa maarifa yetu kwa upana zaidi. Kwa hiyo sisi tunalichukua na hatuoni ubaya wa kwamba tunaweza tukalinclude kwenye taratibu zetu, na guideline ya CPD inaweza ikalitambua. Asante.
Asante sana. Nikiruhusu kuna ambaye ameweza kuunmute. Frank Alphonse, umeweza kuunmute ili uweze kuuliza swali lako.
Asante kaka Zimbo.
Karibu. Karibu.
Mimi nilikuwa na swali. Naitwa Frank Alphonse, ni mfamasia. Kuna baadhi ya kozi ambazo mmelist kama approved course, mfano LMS, lakini tukienda kule kuzinroll inakwambia mpaka uwe cohort member of MCT. Sasa sitajua hapo inakuwaje.
Asante. Karibu msajili ama secretariat, kama kuna majibu ya swali hili ama weza kuelaborate.
Moderator, mimi nilikuwa napenda tu kujibu kwamba today we are just trying to advocate the launching of the CPD guideline, the new CPD guideline. Nadhani haya ni mawazo ambayo wajumbe au professionals, the colleagues wanayaona, ambayo yanaweza kutusaidia kuboresha utaratibu mzima wa kutoa CPD. And as I said, the role of Farmers Council is to create smooth environment for CPD conduction bila kikwazo chochote. Kwa hiyo ni mawazo ambayo yanaenda kuboresha, na naamini kwamba kwa siku ya leo, kwa sababu tuna launch hiyo guideline, tuchukua haya mawazo ili yaweze kutusaidia kuingia kwenye platform ya CPD provision, na wale providers na wenyewe wanaweza kuzitumia hizo. Kwa hiyo hayo material ambayo participants wanayaona ni muhimu, kwa mfano ya ELMS, ni sehemu kubwa ambayo inachangiwa na watu wa supply chain, na supply chain huwezi kuiepuka katika profession. Kwa hiyo kama kwa sasa haionekani namna hiyo, nadhani katika maboresho tutainclude na tutashirikiana na hao kupata the best way ya kuimprove hayo material ambayo yanaweza kutusaidia wote kama wanataaluma. Asante.
Asante sana, mimi nakushukuru sana kwa maswali na majibu mazuri sana kwa wafamasia. Ningeomba maswali yaendelee kuandikwa kwenye chat box wakati tunaelekea kuweza kufunga kikao chetu ama activities hii. Sasa ningependa kuomba kwa administrators, naomba tungewafunga hawa kuwaruhusu watu kuwasha video ili kupata picha kama kumbukumbu. Naomba tuwashe video zetu wote tupate kama kumbukumbu nzuri kabisa.
Sorry, kwangu inakataa kwa sababu kompyuta yangu is secured.
Haina shida.
Ina program moja ya security na imenizuia hapa.
Haina shida.
Asante.
Na wewe nakufahamu umeattend, wala usio na tabu.
Asante.
Asanteni sana, mnaweza mkafunga, tayari tumeshapata picha. Ningependa kuwatambua kualika wafamasia wawili, ambapo mmoja atatoka kwenye kundi la seniors. Namkaribisha mfamasia Henry Tandao azungumze maneno mawili kwa dakika moja. Kama yupo, naona amepata udhuru. Nimkaribishe mfamasia Didan kwa niaba ya wazee.
Eda alikuwepo, sasa simuoni na mimi sijui ametoka.
Basi nimkaribishe rais wa PST kwa niaba ya wazee. Na yeye ametoka. Basi nimkaribishe mzee yoyote azungumze.
Rais naona yupo.
Rais yupo.
Sorry, nilikuwa sijui kama na mimi ni mzee.
Wewe ni mzee. Nakupa dakika moja.
Napenda kupongeza Baraza la Pharmacy kwa kazi nzuri ambayo imefanyika. Nawashukuru pia wanataaluma wenzangu wote kwa kuweza kushiriki. Niwahakikishie wale wanao hitaji kujifunza kupitia CPD kwamba PST inazo courses nyingi na wadau wake wengi. Kwa hiyo kupitia PST hakuna mtu ataweza kukosa kwanza hizo point za licensure, lakini kama vile ambavyo tumeambiwa CPD sio kwa ajili tu ya licensure, kwa zipo course nyingine nyingi ambazo zitakufaa katika practice zetu za kila siku. Kwa hiyo tuende tuendelee mitandao mbalimbali ya PST, tuulize viongozi wa kanda, tuulize viongozi wa kamati, tutapata hizo courses na tutaweza kujifunza kwa ajili ya kuboresha huduma. Asante sana.
Asante sana, nashukuru. Naomba nimkaribishe junior Gen Z pharmacist Eric Mwambande azungumze kidogo, tusikie naye mawazo yake. Naona yupo mbali. Nimkaribishe Buyamba Lamek katika kundi la Gen Z pharmacist.
Famasia yes.
Naomba ni atakayetajwa kwa sababu hapa tumewanmute watu wengi kwa sababu ya interference. Nyoshe mkono ili tumpatie maiki. Au tumpatie.
Buyamba?
Kama simuoni kwenye chat box, yuko kwenye participant ama anaonekanaje?
Nimkaribishe Stella Mbuluma. Yuko hapa Stella, namuona kabisa.
Stella Mbuluma. Stella, you can mute yourself and talk.
Gen Z, naona mnapata changamoto kuongea na kwa wazee. Walionyosha mkono hapa kuna Dennis Thomas. Karibu Dennis Thomas.
Dennis, karibu.
Nadhani wengi wamenyosha mkono lakini hawako jirani.
Subiri tuanze na Onesmo. Hope atakuwa yuko jirani. Onesmo, you can unmute yourself.
Hello, Onesmo.
Ningependa kuwashukuru kutokana na muda, ningependa niwashukuru sana kwa kujoin. Before hatujafunga na kumkaribisha kwa ajili ya official launch ya guideline, ningependa vivyo kuwakumbusha kuwa digital copy of these CPD guidelines has already been uploaded directly into your personal PCMIS account. Please log in today and download it immediately. When you open the document, please look closely on CPD activities. Categorize 1 to categorize 8, to category 8. And these categories details a highly diverse list of approved CPD activities. Earning your 20 points is not just about attending seminars. You can accumulate points through research, online short courses, facility peer discussions, clinical case reviews, and a professional monitoring as listed in those 8 categories. The Council has made it flexible for you so that you can take advantage of it and you have diverse choices. So a massive thank you to guest of honor, Professor Sengeda, who setting a tone to our registrar, pharmacist Boniface Magige, for the strategic clarity on the regulatory mandate of the CPD point. And all who staying online as participant, having over 500, and others on waiting room. And this is a remarkable achievement for awareness of pharmacists to see there is a need to get CPD points. Let us step back into your practice and ambassadors on elite pharmaceutical cares. This virtual launch is now closed, but I would like you to welcome Professor Sengeda on behalf of Professor Kaale, who is the chairperson, chairman for the educational committee, to have the official announcement of launching of SPD guideline. So without hesitating, I would like to welcome Professor Sengeda.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, moderator, for a very, very useful webinar. And I want to take this opportunity on behalf of the prepared, Professor Kade, who for some reason has been delayed to join. I want to congratulate all pharmaceutical professions who have joined this call and others who were, I think we have an issue of upper limit for the joining. I say every time we had only 500 participants, and I hope next time we can take care of that. Napenda sasa nichukue fursa hii rasmi kusema kwamba mwongozo wa masomo endelevu ya kitaaluma ya kifamasia umefunguliwa rasmi leo tarehe 26 mwezi wa 5 mwaka 2026, na niwatakie kila heri wataaluma wote katika kutumia mwongozo huu, lakini pia na regulator kwa kutuongoza katika kutumia vizuri mwongozo huu. Hongereni sana na niwatakie kila la heri katika profession ya pharmacy. Viva Pharmacia.
Viva la Pharmacia. Viva. Thank you so much for the launching. Please, people, put your hand together with using emojis. We have the heart emojis. We have the rocket emojis. Put your hand together. Show some love. Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you. 1 minute.
Last but not least, naomba tusisahau kujaza details zetu kwenye Google form ambayo inakuwa shared hapo both online na Zoom. Thank you.
Asante sana. Mwisho kabisa ningependa kushukuru Baraza la Pharmacy kwa kuniamini kumwakilisha Profesa Kaale katika kuwa moderator wa hii session. Nimefarijika sana na washukuru kwa wafamasia kuwa watulivu na kusikiliza vizuri. Maswali yatajibiwa na majibu yatakuwa shared kwenye platform zetu. Asanteni sana, mbarikiwe, libarikiwe Baraza la Pharmacy, libarikiwe professional pharmacy na wafamasia wote. Asanteni sana na washukuru, bye.
Okay. Bye.
Asante njema. Wafamasia msiache kusubscribe kwenye YouTube channel yetu ili iende viral pia.